After we returned to the palace, Galeis let Leonore take me into his room. As for Leonore, he claimed that I had always lived with him. I took a look at the queen-sized bed the servants had added at the last minute and nodded as I pretended to be as blind to the truth as he was. I slept for a bit in his bed before waking up to take a bath. Right then, I heard voices coming from the living room. Leonore, my dearest brother, do me this favor and pretend to be Selina's mate for a while. She won't find out. I mixed a witch's potion into her ointment a few days ago. That will prevent us from feeling the mate bond during this time. After you become the Alpha King, I'll be your loyal retainer until my dying breath. She'll recover her memories eventually. How do you intend to face her wrath then? Don't worry. When that happens, I'll just calm her down. She loves me and won't leave my side. You're just looking for a chance to have some fun with Flora, aren't you? You know me. But I love Selina more, obviously. I've been her mate for so many years, and things have gone a bit stale. This is a chance for me to take a breather and have fun outside. Let Selina stay by your side for now. You're my brother, so I don't have to worry. I pretended to have heard nothing and just removed my shoes to tiptoe back. But before I returned to the bedroom, I ran into Leonore. You're awake. Why are you walking around barefoot? The floor is carpeted, but there could still be gravel on it. Leonore strode over and lifted me up before putting me on the sofa. He sat beside me and looked at me. Are you feeling unwell anywhere else? I shook my head. Raising a hand, he pushed my rather messy hair back and kissed my forehead. I froze because I was not expecting him to do such a thing. I had always believed that Leonore hated me, after all. Leonore, Galeis, and I grew up together. When I turned 18, the moon goddess chose me as Galeis's mate, and Leonore gave me the cold shoulder. Whenever I fought by Galeis's side on the battlefield, Leonore would mock me. Galeis and I alone are enough here. We don't need that many people pulling our legs. Yet, at present, he wanted to kiss me with eyes that shone with love. I avoided him, and he pretended to be completely fine with it as he brushed his hand against my face. That's fine. Since you don't remember me, we can start off slow. Right then, I had a sneaky feeling that perhaps both Galeis and I were mistaken. Leonore might just betray his own brother. We had a party to celebrate our victory in that fateful battle the next day. When Leonore took me to the hall, I found the place full of life. The nobles all turned to Galeis in sync when they saw me. Selina, do you remember me? I'm your cousin, Flora, said Flora as she greeted me from beside Galeis. Leonore dragged me to the spot beside him while I shook my head. Sorry, I don't remember. That's fine. We can get to know each other again. As Flora spoke, she wrapped her arms around Galeis's and leaned against his shoulder affectionately. My cousin was also my former best friend. Once she learned that I lost my memories, she quickly got together with Galeis. Excitement shone in Galeis's eyes as he enjoyed the thrill of flirting with another woman right in front of my face. At the end of the party, everyone played a shooting game. As the only person who had never served in the military, Flora, naturally, lost, and she had to be punished. One of the nobles seemed to have a perverse kink for watching someone out of the loop being cheated on in public. He smirked and said, "Pick someone and kiss him for 1 whole minute." Flora's face burned red. She looked adorable and bashful. The others started cheering her on. Kiss. Kiss. While they cheered, Galeis and Flora kissed deeply. Then, Flora lay in Galeis's arms blushingly while she shot me a discreet, smug look. Feeling satisfied, Galeis held Flora. The next game was snooker, but since I was not used to it, I lost and had to be punished too. However, since I had amnesia, no one dared to give me a punishment. Suddenly, Leonore chuckled by my side and said, "Why don't you kiss someone for 1 minute too?" Everyone looked at me silently and wondered about who I would choose. Would I instinctively choose Galeis? Nervously, Galeis avoided my gaze, as if he did not want me to choose him. Leonore also tensed up beside me. I smiled. I'm kissing my mate, of course. I thought I saw Galeis sigh in relief. I turned to Leonore. Shall we? As Leonore looked at me, he smiled and nodded. I wrapped my arms around his neck and had to stand on my tiptoes. Meanwhile, he leaned down and kissed me deeply while pulling me close by my waist. Whistles sounded around us as if the people were cheering us on, but after a moment, they suddenly fell silent. I had no time to figure out why because Leonore did not hold back on the kiss. He chased after my tongue so fiercely that I lost my rationality for a moment. A minute later, I stepped back from him and saw Galeis's face darken. It was only then that I understood why the others had fallen silent. It was hilarious. Leonore gently wiped away the wetness from the corner of my lips. What's wrong? Wasn't I supposed to accept my punishment? I asked in mock confusion. You might have lost your memories, but your love for Leonore didn't fade in the slightest. You kissed him so passionately, Flora said mockingly. It only served to make Galeis's expression darken even more. I added fuel to the fire. It must be because my love comes from within my soul itself. For some reason, those words made the smile on Leonore's face freeze. He excused himself to the washroom but did not return even after a long while. I went out for some fresh air, only to hear voices coming from the stairs. Why did you kiss her, Leonore? What you did isn't gentlemanly at all, Galeis said icily. It's just a game. She lost her memories. Was she supposed to kiss you while you have Flora as your mate? Leonore said with a smile. Galeis pulled a long face. Don't go flirting with Selena. If you can, avoid getting too close to her. After the party, I returned to Leonore's bedroom, and he immediately hugged and kissed me. I was stunned for a second before I moved back to avoid him. What? He raised an eyebrow in amusement. We already kissed tonight. I was thinking we could take things a step further. Don't you think we should uphold our responsibilities to each other as mates? I was stunned yet again. Had he not always hated me? Was he testing me on Galeis's behalf to see if I had really lost my memories? But what he was doing at the moment was against what he told Galeis tonight. I could not understand him. He cradled my chin and looked into my eyes. What's wrong? You don't want to. As I stared at him quietly, I lowered my head and pressed a kiss to the finger resting against my chin. That took him by surprise. Then, he picked me up and walked to the bed. That night, my body and memories felt disconnected. I remembered that after the moon goddess chose me to be Galeis's mate, Leonore always pulled a long face whenever he saw me with Galeis. But the man who abhorred my very presence over the past few years and made everyone think that he hated me was staring at me lovingly while he left hickeys all over my body. Meanwhile, my true mate, who had once treated me like a precious treasure, was holding another woman in his arms. I woke up thirsty in the middle of the night to find an empty spot next to me. I got up to get some water but found someone talking in the living room. Why aren't you sleeping with your lover? Why are you here drinking with me instead? That was Leonore's voice. Is she sleeping in your guest room? Galeis asked. I can't just let her sleep on the couch, can I? Thanks, Leonore, but if she comes on to you, avoid her. No matter what, she's my mate. You should be worried about yourself. If that woman wakes up and finds that you're missing, she's going to be sad. Fine. I'll be going back now. I turned around and quietly retreated to Leonore's bedroom. When Leonore opened the door and came in, he saw me pretending to get out of bed. What's wrong? He asked gently as he walked over. I'm thirsty, I said. Don't move. I'll get you a glass of water. He put the glass on the bedside table before he kissed me. Since you're awake, shall we go for another round? He pressed me down on the bed. With my eyes wide open, I thought about how Galeis had come over tonight to specifically tell Leonore to keep his hands off me. Yet, he immediately turned around and did this. Galeis would never expect his brother, whom he trusted so much, to embrace me so passionately. Leonore told me that he was taking me to a party tonight. I only learned after I got there that it was a birthday party Galeis was throwing for Flora. When we arrived at the lake where the party was held, I saw Galeis and Flora standing at the best spot as they watched a grand show of fireworks. Flora leaned against Galeis and suddenly jumped up to kiss him in delight. She looked very adorable. Galeis smiled at her and affectionately nibbled at her nose. When he turned around, he saw us. The moment he saw me, he stiffened and panicked a little, then he immediately feigned nonchalance. Flora saw us too. Selena, Mr. Leonore, thank you for coming to my birthday party. More fireworks lit up the sky above the lake. Galeis was the one who lit them up for Flora. Flora watched them joyfully. The others pointed at the fireworks that filled the sky and marveled at them. I wondered if they would still remember that last year, during my birthday, they were all there too. Galeis had lit up the fireworks for me at that time. I had been happy, and after that, he went down on one knee before me. With fresh flowers in his hand, he had said to me, "Happy birthday, Selena. Every year from now on, I will love and take care of you." I had been so touched that I cried and crouched down to throw myself into his arms. Yet, at this very moment, he treated me as a bystander in his life while he did all this for another woman. "Do you like it?" he asked her gently. "Yes." Flora nodded vigorously. As she leaned in his embrace, she said, "I feel so happy and blessed. I really hope that time will forever stop at this moment." With a smile, Galeis caressed her head. Suddenly, I felt someone put a coat around my shoulders. Turning around, I saw that it was Leonore. "Don't catch a cold now," he said. After the fireworks show was over, people started chatting with each other. Once I bade farewell to the noble women, I intended to leave, only to hear talking from the stairwell. Galeis said, "Leonore, my dearest brother, to think you put a coat around a woman's shoulders who's supposed to be my mate. You sure are kind." When Leonore spoke, he sounded a little displeased. "You really had time to pay attention to me at that time?" "I'm just curious. When have you been such a gentleman?" Galeis sounded skeptical. Leonore said coldly, "She's my mate, at least in name, right now. If she falls sick, who's going to take care of her? You." Galeis was rendered speechless. "Both you and Flora looked really happy today. You and Flora really looked like mates meant for each other." "Flora seems to bring you joy," Leonore said. "That's true. I feel as if I've rediscovered the feeling I first had when I got together with Selena. But Flora is more submissive and attentive than Selena. She makes me feel happy and at ease," Galeis said. "Then, why don't you make the best of the situation? Flora does indeed suit you better. You said that Selena frustrates you sometimes because she's really stubborn at times, no?" Leonore said. "I've been with Selena for years. I'm the only person she loves. Besides, Flora told me that she doesn't intend to be my mate. As long as she can spend time with me, she's satisfied." What a foolish girl. I could not care less for his musings, so I left. After Leonore returned, he suddenly hugged me and kissed me. Then, he let go and looked at me closely. "You know what, Selena? You're the best, and no one can compare to you." I stared at him in surprise. His words seemed like a response to Galeis's remarks when he had compared me to Flora. Why was he treating me so gently after I lost my memories? As I stared at him, I said, "You're so kind. I think I've fallen in love with you even more than before. What should I do?" He laughed and kissed me passionately. This man seemed really happy that I loved him. I let him do as he pleased, but as I kissed him back, I was deep in thought. I only ever had Galeis as my mate. When the moon goddess chose me to be Galeis's mate, I almost wanted to go against my destiny. I had never seen him or Leonore as suitors, and I could not quite accept the thought of becoming mates with one of my best friends. But Galeis suddenly cast aside all etiquettes of friendship and started courting me. Once, when I was injured during a clash with the enemies, Galeis fought tooth and nail to come to my side and save me. He carried me for more than 10 miles and returned to the camp for help. While we were on our way back, he kept saying, "Selena, marry me. I'll protect you forever." That relationship of ours had changed completely. If that was the case, I should be allowed to get another mate for myself. After a short period of peace, our enemies attacked us again. Once we arrived at the edge of the battlefield, we set up camp and deployed troops into their battle formations. When we were done, Galeis's expression turned sour. In private, he said to Leonore, "Do you two intend to share the same tent? You should split up." "It's just a tent. Don't worry," Leonore said. I decided to step in at that time, and Galeis had to swallow his words in displeasure. The next morning, with that same dark expression, Galeis charged at his enemies recklessly, which was unlike his usual style of fighting defensively. Because of his actions, Leonore, our other comrades, and I had to run after him and fight too. All of us ended up quite injured. Once we returned to the rear, Galeis barged in as the witch doctor was treating my wounds. Fortunately, I had not removed my clothes and had only undone some of my buttons for the witch doctor to clean the wound on my shoulder. Suddenly, Galeis stared at me and growled, "What's that on your collarbone?" I shot him a brief glance before I pulled my coat tighter around me to cover my skin. I asked in puzzlement, "What?" Galeis grabbed my hand and fixed his gaze on me. "Leonore did that, didn't he?" He was far too familiar with marks on my collarbones. After all, he had left countless hickeys on my body in the past. That was why he could tell immediately that these marks were not left behind by weapons but by a person. "You're hurting me." I scowled and pulled my hand back. "What does that have to do with you, anyway?" Meanwhile, Leonore came in at that moment and pried Galeis's hands off me. "Please respect my mate." That made Galeis blow his top off. "Enough. I don't want you to pretend to be Selena's